All right, we're back.
All right.
We are back, and you've came equipped with the nice title belt there, sir.
That's what champions get. I get to retain it for at least another 17 weeks.
I still don't
Quite
know
possibly
how
longer.
that happened.
Well, when you're
You are the
skilled
commissioner.
draft, well, that could bring some points into question, but I'm a fair commissioner. I don't cheat.
For those that are just listening to the pod, Tanner's wearing a wrestling title belt, which is awarded to the winner of our fantasy football league here at the office.
Well earned. Many are envious of it.
And it is pretty glorious.
Some will never have it.
We did have our draft last night. I thought it went well, pretty smooth.
It went how I wanted it to go. It's another championship coming up.
Yeah, because guess who had first pick?
It was a fair draw. Names out of a hat. Just somehow I pulled my name out first.
All right. Well, hopefully this year is a different outcome.
Well,
for me, especially.
You know, I got you first game, so that should be an easy win. It's kind of like, when the college teams play a little tune-up game and they just beat the crap out of another team. It's kind of like how this week one's going to go for me.
All right, we'll see.
Pretty excited about it. It's going to be, I just go undefeated.
Speaking of undefeated in fantasy, I'm going to do a little fantasy draft of our own on the pod live right now.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is draft the top deductions or tax credits available to individuals. We'll just keep it to the individuals.
Okay.
We'll go 4 rounds. Okay. And everybody you can have free reign. You can have first pick since you're pretty used to getting first pick in pretty much any extracurricular activities around here.
Well, when you're good, you're good. If we're going with the first pick here, all right. I'm not going to go with the obvious. I'm not going to do it. We're going to go all the way down to 21 for a surprise kid, coming up with the energy efficient home improvement credits.
That's not a bad one.
Actually, I screwed up.
Oh,
we're taking that
no.
No. I wanted.
We locked it in.
No, we didn't lock it in. We got time on the clock. Solar tax credit. Misspoke.
Okay. Well, that was my first pick too.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
So
Did not have first pick.
good for you.
Yeah.
You get the
Draft is already going the way I want to go.
McCaffrey of credits.
Darn right.
Okay, so if you went solar tax credit.
I wrote them down.
Oh, okay.
So I
I was
search.
like, you got the tax credit application right here? You're
Yeah.
gonna bring it out?
Yeah.
All right. I actually took that credit. All right.
You didn't? I did.
I'm taking the adoption credit.
That was a good one. It's a good one. It's a biggie. I had that one too.
So this credit maxes out at $15,950 is non-refundable. Remember when it used to be refundable?
That might have been before my time.
Yeah, so this thing was fully refundable. And this was per kid. And yeah, that was when you saw
A lot of kids
refunds
getting
like
adopted that year.
20 grand.
Yeah.
Yes, it was, it used to be fully refundable. Then they changed that. So yeah, my first round draft pick, adoption credit.
Okay. Adoption's off the board. That's going to be my second pick. Didn't see you going with that. That's why we're going to go with the next one. Electric vehicle tax credit. Taking the big ones off the board here.
Yep. You are pretty much taking all my picks.
Yeah.
So you got round 1 solar credit, round 2 electric vehicle credit.
Yes, sir.
All right. You know what? My round 2 is going to be the earned income tax credit. Fully refundable.
A little basic choice, but you know what? Respect it.
So that's my round 2.
Yeah, I see. All right. Well, now, this belt's getting really hard to stay up on me. that. We got that. You know what? I'm going to go with the American Opportunity Tax Credit for the third pick.
American Opportunity Tax Credit. Let's see. The first $2,000 you spend on tuition, books, and equipment and school fees, but not living expenses for college kids, correct?
Correct.
That's a good one. I am going to take for my third round. All the big ones.
Big ones are gone. The other ones,
There's some other ones, but
they're all tied to the schedule.
Schedule A. But I will take because, I'm just a charitable heart. I'm going to go ahead and
Oh, is that right?
take the charitable donation deduction. Okay?
I always knew that about you.
How about that?
Charitable Zachy.
I am.
That's what they called you.
Yep. That's what they still call me.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm going to stick with these efficient.
This is
credits.
your
It's going to be the fourth.
This is your last round.
My last one?
We're only doing 4 rounds.
Oh, man. Got me in a bind here. I'm still going to stick with it. You know what? Give this one some love. No, I'm not going to do it. It's terrible. It's an awful credit. We're going to go with the energy efficient home improvement tax credit.
Yeah, so you just took
circle back to that.
all of them. Okay.
Well, you know what? Winner's pick correct.
Yeah, that one's it's not as good as your
It's not as good as the first ones, but it's still solid.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to piggyback off of my charitable contributions, and I'm going to take. I'm not going to piggyback off of it. I'm just going to check the child tax credit. How about that? Because I love the kids.
Yeah, well, you do have two.
Yep.
All right, I can't hold this belt. This belt's hot on the belly. It's stuck to me.
Yeah, you might want to keep it in frame, though. But I know the burden is heavy on you.
I'll just let you look at that, see what you could have, what you never will.
Speaking of the kids, I had my oldest turned 13 on Sunday.
Oh, jeez.
And that was...
Got a teenager.
That was... Let me tell you, if I didn't feel old before, I feel really old now. My back hurts every day now since Sunday.
That's from doing CrossFit. You should probably just stop doing that.
It is. But yeah, that was a good time. Big event for our family. The teenager.
Take him anywhere?
He had a party out at the adventure park, Nona Water Park. So it was a good time. It actually got rained out for the last hour. They gave us a full refund, and so we can go back for free.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah. Thinking about inviting everybody at the office but you.
Oh, that's just hurtful. But, I'm okay with it. I don't want to go anyway.
Yeah. So we can actually get into a couple things that I saw, because there is a debate coming up next week. I think it's on Tuesday, the September 10th. Trump
right.
and Donald Trump and Kamala Harris will do their first debate. So I saw some of their tax policies, which I believe will be coming up in the debate. So sure. I kind of just wanted to touch on any that we wanted to, stay out of politics, and just kind of give our thoughts on some of their policies that they look like they're going to be bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Any of them stick out to you initially?
Well, some of them kind of mirror each other as far as at least two of them for sure being the exempt tip income and the expanded child tax credit. Now, the child tax credit for both sides have differing amounts, and but the tip income one, I mean, one, I get it. I'm okay with doing that, but what is that going to do for as far as reporting purposes on a tax return? Is that now going to be that you just don't report it? Or is there going to be a section on there where it's reported but not taken into taxable income? Mm-hmm. And if it's not reported, there's a group of people that rely on reporting their tip income to increase their earned income to increase their earned income credit. So
Sure.
if you drop that off, what does that do for them? It's not that great for them. But if you're still leaving it on the return, but then canceling out the taxable portion of that, that would probably be a rate I could see it, but also still included in earned income. But that kind of just creates its own headache in the getting a system and the formula around for getting that just right. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I haven't saw any real great explanation of, well, right now it's just I guess they're throwing that out there and not really considering how that's going to funnel into the tax system, but it'll be interesting to see if that passes.
Yeah, Batul, can you click the second tab, and then we can go into, it's all right. We got to get a better setup in here. At the very top where it says, no, go down. Down. Right there. It says exempt tip income and says read more there. Just click there.
It didn't really have anything great.
Because hers is different than Trump's policy is all tip income, correct? And hers leaves out a couple. I thought she did. Yeah. I don't think it goes into that in this article. This is on the Tax Foundation.
Yeah.
But what if I just pay you minimal and then just tip you more than instead of pay you? Now, what are we getting into?
Well,
now we're encouraging people to not pay higher wages and
just let it rest
consider
on
it as
the
a
tips.
tip.
But still, I guess there's to be certainly ways around that as far as restaurants and bars go.
Right,
creative payments and considering things as tips when they're not really tips as part of the salary or
right.
part of their wages. But I don't know how much help that would be, because then too, as far as the company standpoint, if they did pay them less and tip them more, then that's less of a deduction they get, because the tips are looking like it's coming from the customers, not necessarily a deduction from the business.
True.
So
I'm just trying to think of a way around it, as everybody else will probably.
Everybody's going to try to get creative with it. But back to the point of, however it's going to be implemented, it's going to be good for some, and if it's all of a sudden now it's exempt and not reportable income, and it's just taken off the tax return in general, and now it's not included for earned income, then it hurts others. Mm-hmm. Which I guess all sides of what they're kind of doing here on some of their standpoints kind of help one, hurt others. So especially, expanding the child tax credit to, $5,000 or $6,000 for children under age 1.
Yeah, because they're two different policies, really.
Yeah.
Child tax credit on Trump's end is raising it to $5,000 across the board.
It sounds like it was $5,000 across the board.
And then Kamala Harris's, hers would be giving $6,000 for children under the age of 1, and then $3,600 for children ages 2 through 5 years old, and then $3,000 for the older children.
Yeah, it's
like a
graduated
like a tiered
system.
I see the thinking on that one. Giving more money to, new parents. Obviously, you could have multiple kids at that point. So
yeah, it certainly helps people with kids out. But where's my credit?
You got to get those solar panels, bro.
Yeah, but then you look at it there. The money's got to come from somewhere. Mm-hmm. So then, what does that do to the rest of the system? Increases pays.
Yeah, there's always ramifications from all these updates. We got the money's got to come from somewhere. So our national debt, all that kind of stuff, all is going to be factored in. Be interesting to hear their sides of the policies next week. Anything else that stuck out to you with any of these policies?
Well, then, Kamala. There we go. She's got that one thought for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, I didn't really read into that one much.
Basically, brief overview is just that it's, if you qualify for it somehow, whatever the qualifications would be at that point, you could get up to $25,000 towards your
Down payment
of your home if you're a first-time home buyer. Now, and it also talked about bringing that back. So does that bring back that first-time home buyer credit where now it's got to be accounted for and paid back over X amount of years, which is
remember that
nightmare.
thing?
It's a terrible thing. There's probably still people having to pay back on it when it's supposed to be paid off years ago.
It was just so hard to keep track of from all those people that took it. They had no clue how much they were paying back, if they paid it back. They just didn't understand.
Then after it's already supposed to be paid off,
because 1 year prior you didn't have to pay it back.
Yeah, and
then the year after you had to pay it back in 10 years or something.
Yeah, but it'd be 10 years later before it even got kicked back from the IRS saying they owed this.
Right.
By that time, people would be out of the houses. Then you got to figure out what was the credit, where they were at. We all know the IRS lookup tool was just fantastic.
It seemed like it was not accurate.
No, can hardly find anything on there. Had to get lucky.
But they have been stepping up, so maybe they are stepping that platform up.
True. I have all the faith in the world in that.
Should. Yeah. So go back on this. Click the back arrow on there, and then go down to the home buyer, and let's expand that one. I think it's that one that the mouse is on, but yeah.
It all redirects to the same page.
Oh, it goes to the same page.
So it's scrolled down a little bit.
Oh, it's going to be deep in there. That's way too much. But yeah, I mean, anyways, I remember it was the $25,000 to first-time home buyers down payment.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's going to be paid back in some kind of portion over a certain amount of time, I think, that's still...
There would have to be almost some sort of component to it like that. But then it's also, what does that do to the housing market? Because then again, is that just going to make the houses go up?
Right.
If I know you're getting $25,000 and I had a $300,000 house, well, maybe that's $325,000 now. Now, still helps them get into the house. It's a down payment, obviously, but it also could increase home prices again for those who don't qualify to receive this.
Yeah.
And I'm back to just renting forever.
Hey, I mean, it's an option. There's a lot of things that go into homes, especially right now with the interest rates, and it's just the costs of these homes are just outrageous. Hopefully at some point we can get back down a little bit. I don't know if there's ever going to be a new norm or get back to what we were thought, but sure would help.
Sure it'll come back a little bit, but I'm pretty good with the renting. It's great. Don't have to do anything. People fix it for me.
Yeah, the only other thing I saw was I think both of them are trying to extend the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
Yeah, I think there's a portion of that where I know Trump for sure was going to be trying to make that a more permanent fixture. I don't know if Kamala was planning to try to cut that out.
Yeah, because let's click on this, the last tab, and I have just scroll down a little bit. Keep going just a little bit. Down. There we go. So if we remember, it moved that standard deduction. Mm-hmm. It eliminated the personal exemption that used to be on tax returns. The health coverage mandate ended. So that was a big one. And then the adjustments to the child tax credit just were some of those items in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that expire at the end of this year, correct? I'm pretty sure they do.
I believe so. Yeah, how that would, I would hope they continue some portion of it, especially the standard deduction and personal exemption point. But if it does expire and they don't renew like those portions, and what do they do for the standard, and what do they do if they bring exemptions back? And it'd be interesting to see.
In my opinion, I thought when they eliminated the personal exemption, it simplified it a little bit.
Yeah.
It made it harder to itemize, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it simplified the return.
Definitely kind of made everything a little bit more, as far as preparing wise, or tax-wise in general, just kind of made it a lot simpler as far as you get the one standard. Standard's pretty high. Probably not going to be able to itemize for most people.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of cut a lot of that out, which made, obviously, preparation a lot easier. So if they end up dialing that back, or once this, if it doesn't get extended and they change around the standard and bring back the personal, and it kind of just, who knows?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Who knows what's going to happen? I guess we'll all have to tune in next week.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
And then, I think we can revisit this once we have some more information. And this is, unfortunately, time of the year of the election is going to be hot news all the time. So, yeah.
Look forward to seeing, what they end up getting past, if any of this. I mean, obviously, a lot of these things aren't going to be implemented this year.
Yeah, a lot of these, I don't even want to go into, but like Trump's tariffs and all that sort of thing, it seemed wild.
That's that one I wouldn't be too much of a fan of. Obviously. It's
eliminating income tax.
Not paying income tax. Pretty great, but if tariffs are increased and taxes are increased, then there's a whole other...
It's wild.
You save your income tax, but you got to pay it elsewhere.
Yeah. And what's that do to prices?
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, I think that was pretty much all we had to cover on this week's, unless you had something else.
No, sir.
I know our first football games are over the weekend for the NFL. My college football team is out already. FSU, they lost their first 2 games to terrible teams, and they were just... Anyway, moving on. Now I get to go suffer through the Dallas Cowboys season.
You got a good watch. I'm just hoping, the Bears, we got a new quarterback. Our quarterback has sucked for a lot of years now.
Oh, since Cutler.
The trend can't continue. He's going to break it.
I think
I'm ready for it.
They'll be better. They just have Detroit and Green Bay to worry about still.
That'll be all right.
All right, man. Well, you'll be here next week.
I'll be here next week.
Do not bring the belt.
We might just let this belt marinate around you for a while. Might just put it on and walk around the office today just to let everybody know.
Yeah, that should be good. All right, man. I'll catch you next week.
See ya.
Later.